Watchers, welcome back to the channel, and today I have here a piece from an interesting company which I never heard of until they got in touch with me. So this one is courtesy of Overdrive Watches, which is a little bit of a mystery actually, to be honest, as to who they exactly are. But let's just open this and show you the packaging, which is, you know, got this bright red. They kind of have this sports theme going, but overall, a little bit about the company. They are a Middle East inspired type of design company. So they do say that they take inspiration from a Damascus sword, which is a wood steel sword from history, and they apparently took some of the curves to implement into the watch. But I think when you see the watch, you'll see that it's probably more inspired by another brand, Richard Mille, more than anything else. Some of the designs come from Arabic sundials and whatnot, and that's what they have said. The contact is German based. They said they have used a German design studio, but I can't find anything about this studio H. Matuk online, so I'm not sure whether that's just an in-house thing. Their contact details are German, but in fact the watch I got was shipped from Qatar. So, you know, go figure where they actually are, who they actually are. Okay, so let's just open this box for you to see. All right, so nothing much in here, just a warranty card up the top there. And then that's it. There's nothing below here that I can identify. So it's just a watch on a cushion. Okay, that's just what this box is. This is just cardboard. There's nothing much more than that. There may be some you know, MDF underneath here, but outside of here is just kind of a cardboard wrap. I think that's just what it feels like. Okay, let's just put that away now and show you the watch in more detail. So guys, this is the Overdrive Watches D1 model. This is D1 DCF-RW, so RW for you know, red white in color. They have various other color combinations you can see on the website. CF for carbon fiber, which is part of the material here, and then D1 meaning this is their I guess first of their basic line models. This is their flagship, I think, being the most expensive. They have a D2 range and the D3 range. Those are slightly cheaper, and they have some limited editions as well. Okay, movement in here. So the movement in here is quartz. Right? You can see that red secondhand ticking away here, and you can tell it's the quartz. And in this case is a Ronda 1042 H1, so Swiss-made movement. This movement, again, not a whole lot of information on it, but I gather that it's a relatively high-end movement that may be used when you want a small movement. So it is actually only a 10mm diameter movement with less than 3mm height. So very much able to fit into small watches. I guess perhaps ladies' watches might be the ones that you implement here. Otherwise, if you want to do a see-through dial with a small movement at the middle, that maybe is where this movement is most implemented. Okay, so that they've gone for a Swiss movement in this watch, and that's really all I have to say about it. Okay, so moving on to the case then. So the case is, I think, the main point of interest here. So 40mm across the face here, from the top to top, or I guess the lug to lug distance is 50mm. The height is 50mm. Thickness is 14mm on thickness. Just to let you know, this strap, where it connects at the front here, is 25mm. It's actually slightly wider at the back. So if you measure it at the back, it's 27mm where it contacts the actual body here. Okay, so it's a little bit different here in terms of this custom strap. Overall weight of this watch is 65 grams, so it is actually designed to be a very light watch, and they've kind of said that's why they chose some of the materials on this rubber strap. 65 grams overall, very easy to forget it's on your wrist. All right, look at the bezel then. Okay, the bezel here is, I guess, perhaps the most special part of this watch, and I went for this red white because I just want to go for something a little bit nuts, you know, in terms of this choice. You can choose more quiet black colors and whatnot, gray, and the black one actually has some grain here. This one has less silver grain, but you know, as I pan it, hopefully you can see there is indeed some grain in the carbon fiber of this red and white that they've gone for here. Okay, so that bezel is carbon fiber, and of course that back as well is the same material in carbon fiber. The sides of the case, okay, this is that you see the side there with that sign crown, black, right? They tell me that's nylon, so it feels like a type of plastic, but I guess nylon, strictly speaking, is slightly different from plastics, but that's what they've told me that black material is. Overall, despite the fact that they said this is inspired by Arabian design and the Damascus sword, well, I think this is most highly inspired by Richard Mille, and particularly the RM67-02, kind of a sports model, red and white as well on the dial. I'll try to put some pictures here for you to see what that watch looks like. Okay, the back here, screw secured, and you can see, hopefully those screws are apparent to you guys. Okay, that's a custom screw, I think very similar, if not the same as what Richard Mille uses on the face screws. All right, 4 of them, screw secured. The crown is just a push crown, and it is actually a 3-layer aluminium crown. That's what they've said. It's the black, the silver, or naked aluminium, and the red are all aluminium, 3 layers here. It is just a push crown, not a screw down crown. Overall is 50 meters water resistant rating is what this watch has. All right, let's move on to the dial then. The dial here is a little bit of a see-through design here. It does have a layered center, so that kind of Arabic writing there in the middle is on a bit of a transparent bit on top of a textured part or surface underneath there, and they say that it's inspired by an Arabian type of palace in Spain, as well as some other letterings elsewhere. So overall Middle East inspired details, including the 10 spokes that come out of the central bit of the dial, as well as the writings, the Arabic or Arabian numerals around the flange there. All that is allegedly inspired by an Arabian sundial. Okay, that's where the alleged inspirations are touted to come from. There's hands. So I'll show you the hands there. The hands are skeletonized baton style hands. It does have white tips on the end there to help you differentiate it, but I think in this case maybe a different color might have been more successful. Red even. The red on the second hand, of course, makes that stand out a bit. The second hand is completely painted or colored in red. This watch actually has no lume in any surface whatsoever, so it's completely dark and you won't be able to tell the time without light. On top of that, okay, you can see immediately it is actually a curved crystal or glass, and it is K1 mineral glass. Unfortunately, it's not sapphire. The same at the back. There is a slight curve to that as well. You can see that. That's also K1 mineral glass. All right, that's the description of the case. Now moving on to the band there. This band, I told you it's 25 at the top here, but it does taper to 20 millimeters for most of the length of the band here. And it is stitched rubber, stitched with this offset red here. The buckle, it's steel, and it's PVD steel here. Okay, that's just what it is, and it's red and black, so a bit of offset to match the theme of the case here. You can get extra straps from the website. They are all rubber. They come in different colors and themes, and they do include a screwdriver. So right now, they don't sell the screwdriver separately. If you want to open this case, you will need to source a screwdriver that can access those screws or get it directly from the company. So that's a little bit of an issue that may come up as we discuss this watch further. Okay, so that's really the description of the watch. Let's put it on for a wrist shot for you guys now. Okay, and there we go. The Overdrive D1 model, in this case the red-white model, on my 17 centimeter wrist, and you can see it is large, 50 millimeters there, and then the band sticks out a little bit more than that. So it is definitely large on the wrist, but 65 grams, as I say, very easy to forget. And 14 millimeters thick that's how it rides on top of the wrist. Okay, and that's the band there sitting at the back. All right, guys, so this is the watch in description and showing you the wrist shot. So what can I say about this watch? It is actually a difficult watch to review. It is actually possibly the most controversial review I've done, because the pricing of this watch, originally 1,500 USD, on sale as I checked it today, or for 1,350 USD, so 10% off. it is not a cheap watch. It is actually quite a substantial investment for what is a brand that is effectively unknown, something that I've never heard of personally. Now, the strengths of this, I would say it is definitely an attractive design. It is quite a distinctive design, but a lot of it, of course, is lifted from RM and other similar brands that do these types of shapes. A very interesting bezel, with this carbon fiber material, which really is the central highlight of this watch. And it does get comments. It does draw attention, if nothing else, because of the color, the rather garish color combination of this watch. And I've kind of enjoyed just people coming up and saying, "Ooh, what is this watch?" It's quite an interesting look. And a lot of it is actually a borrowed look. So if you want something like that, distinctive, attractive, sure, this does do that. The tonneau case, right? So this is a tonneau case characteristic of Richard Mille or a lot of RM watches. They do rave on about how comfortable RM do feel on the wrist, and I can kind of understand why after wearing this watch, because you can see it's a smooth curve, kind of contiguous with the band here, and it really is quite comfortable. You can very easily wear this and not feel that at all, and it is indeed. I really appreciate how comfortable the tonneau case shape is, and I'll give it that. This is definitely a comfortable watch and also a very light watch. Now, things to note, things that I would bring up as, I guess, negatives, if you will, about this watch. Okay, so it's a heavy homage design, no doubt about it, no doubt in my mind, and I think that they have kind of said that, there are inspirations from RM as well. I think if you're going to do an RM homage, face screws would have added something. They got those screws at the back, but I think screws on the face, I think would have added some character. Maybe too much of a copy, which is fair enough, but I wouldn't have minded seeing some face screws. Without considering the price, I think the things I would also bring up about this watch: no lume, no chapter ring. Okay, so if you want to adjust the time more precisely, you won't have a chapter ring to go by. And then the second-hand alignment, if you have seen it go around, it is not perfect, right? So let's see, go to 12. Okay, it's actually doesn't go completely vertical, and when it comes to the 3 o'clock, it's not completely horizontal. I would expect that that to be gotten right. I mean, Casio can get it right on their $200 or $100 watches. I would expect this to be perfectly aligned. And I would say this is not the most legible of dials, right? It is not a watch that I was able to, glance at my wrist and read the time. I do have to look at it for a couple of seconds to read it. So if you want a watch like that, if you expect that, well, this isn't the watch that will give you that. And then also I would say those special screws, the kind of custom screws, they may actually preclude battery change. So unless your watchmaker has those screws, and the screwdriver that can open that, or you get one, you may have a problem if you want to change the battery out of this watch. And then lastly, again, without considering the price, the regional cultural theme may restrict the audience of this watch. Not everybody will want Arabic wording on their watch. I reviewed Basel, Australia, and a lot of people kind of said, well, that Australia itself kind of either has no meaning to them, or in fact, maybe it's a bit of turn off putting Australia on the face of the watch. So this may be another concern and gripe that some people might have. All right. Now this watch, I don't think I can discuss this without talking about the pricing. And for this price, I think honestly, it really just doesn't quite do enough. Right, what do I expect? Well, materials, right? There's no sapphire. It is only a rubber strap. For a watch like this, if you're going to put a quartz in there, I would like to see exotic materials. Use titanium for parts of the case and the case side if you're not going to use completely carbon fiber, which apparently is expensive to make, and that's where they say most of the cost is. For the strap, what other options you have? Well, you can use other things, Kevlar, carbon fiber insert, whatnot. There's a lot more other materials you can push to try to, put something more into this watch. That's what I kind of think would lift this watch. And then automatic. Well, if you can't find a 10mm movement, maybe one doesn't exist from ETA. I'm not sure about that. There are small movement options that are slightly larger than that central bit, and you can still have a lot of design options that are possible to implement on this watch put a Swiss automatic movement in it, and bring the price closer to a justifiable level. Even if you did all that, I'm not sure whether this would be compelling to a lot of people. That's just where it's sitting, and that's my concern about whether they can sell any of these watches. And apparently some of their models, some of their limited edition models are listed as sold out. So I'm not really sure who's buying it up. It's all a bit of a mystery. So guys, there we go. Overdrive D1 DCF RW. That's the watch here. If you've seen this before, if you indeed own any watches, which I would really like to hear, if anybody owns an Overdrive watch, I would be surprised. But I've been surprised before. So let me know what you think. Unfortunately, I think the price value proposition for this is very controversial, probably the most controversial that I've done. And guys, if you enjoy my videos, do consider subscribing. New content every week, always aiming to be objective and unbiased about all things horology. Thank you again for sticking with me, and as always, I'll catch you guys next time.